So, Mahdi, you grew up in
Mhm.
Kyiv, right?
Yes.
Were you raised Shia?
Yeah, I was born and raised here.
Yeah. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, we faced a very monstrous treatment from the Saudi government just for the fact that we are Shia or presumed to be Shia. I know more than one friend in Saudi Arabia who are Sunnis actually, but just because they live in Qatif, they were faced with a very harsh treatment, just presuming that they are Shia because they live in Qatif. And that treatment even evaluated to physically, hitting and treating us like animals, um, like in the Arab Spring uh, when the people went out to the streets, asking for their human rights, freedom, and the freedom of practicing their religion and or uh, their doings in Shia in Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia.
Before we
They
get to
were.
that, I wanted to ask about the religious studies that,
Mhm.
like, what were you taught in school? Because what I was taught in Riyadh was essentially to hate Shias and that they're kuffar and all of that. What kind of things did you learn? Were the curriculum set by the Saudi Arabian government? Um,
Yes, the religious, periods, which are, let's say, Tawheed, Fiqh, all of these books were Sunnis, as you may know, but the teachers also cannot be Shias. They have to be Sunnis, and they are sent from Riyadh or Mecca.
oh,
So even in Qatif, where all the teachers would be Shias, the only Sunni teacher would be the religion class.
hmm. And did you learn much about like Sunnis and Shias and the difference? And did you
Well,
because
there
yeah,
was
like
not
I learned
much
some pretty
mention.
hateful things about Shias, but I don't know about.
Well, there was, it wasn't direct, but they would explain most of what is in the book. For example, in Tawheed, they would say worshipping anything that is not Allah. For example, the temples, and he would, for example, point at us. The temples, you would be an infidel, for example. So those
Yeah.
mean comments, we are very used to it in school. It is not nice to hear, but we hear it a lot. We used to hear it a lot.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know about the situation in Qatif. So, uh, yeah. I mean, Qatif is just a completely different level of police state than even the rest of Saudi Arabia, right? And especially
Hmm.
after, the events of the Arab Spring and yeah, all of the events that happened afterwards, the massacres. Yeah, I mean, so many people over there have been massacres. Could you tell us about what happened at that time in your experience?
So, in my experience, I was once in Qatif with four of my friends. We were five, going out for lunch together, and at the day, there was a lot of people going out on the street, having uh, just shouting their voices, trying to get to someone who has power that could listen to them,
Protesting.
and protesting. And what happened is we started hearing some, you know, some police shooting in the air just to warn people that we are armed. So stop and go back, or we will shoot you. So we started walking away from the fire shots just so we could be safe. And it was in a blink of an eye. I did not see it coming. Three of the five of or three of the four of my friends were um, shot by snipers and were killed on the spot in front of me.
Wow. Wow. And how did you deal with that? What happened afterwards?
Well, it was quite a shock psychologically. But we were just laughing, like eating and laughing just like 10 minutes ago. And then right now they are dead in a pool of blood in front of me, and I cannot do anything for them. There's no one that's gonna take um you know like their rights. They are like they were killed,
Yeah, yeah.
and no one is gonna talk about it. Like right
Nobody's
now,
allowed to talk about it, right?
well, a lot are talking about it outside of Saudi Arabia, but inside of Saudi Arabia, no
Yeah.
one can talk. If you talk, then you will be aiding, you know, terrorism, for example, or being a spy, investigated for being a
No, of
spy
course.
for
Everybody
another
who
country.
disagrees with Wahhabism is a terrorist, right? I'm a
Yeah.
terrorist, you're a
So
terrorist, the Shias are terrorists, the Christians are terrorists, the atheists are terrorists. The Wahhabis are the only
yeah,
ones who aren't terrorists, right?
yeah. Yeah,
That's just
for the Wahhabis in Saudi Arabia, like I've heard it one time uh, from a student that studied with me in KFUPM uh, when I was 18. He told me that Shias are even worse than Jews. So Jews are not. I'm not saying Jews are bad. It's just, for Muslims, or for some Muslims
yeah.
and Wahhabis in particular, Jews are the bigger or the biggest enemy. And for them, Shias are even worse than Jews. I
Yeah.
don't know why, but like that's how much they hate people in Qatif and Shia.
Oh yeah, I mean, growing up in Riyadh, there were almost no Shias over there, and
Even if
yeah, I
there
heard
were
all kinds of
Shias.
weird stories about
Mhm.
like people making up things about Shias and beliefs and practices and really weird shit that I won't get into right now. Have you personally gotten in trouble with the Saudi authorities?
Yes, I have. In the beginning of 2019, I was I was just driving my car, and like near the beach. I stopped my car at almost 3 a.m. and out of nowhere there was two police cars outside of like outside of my car. They knocked on my um, door, asked me for my identification, and after they saw the identification, looked at me, there was, some kind of difference in the like between my face and the face on my identification, which is completely normal because I took this picture like 7 or 8 years ago. But they presumed that I was a wanted person, so they took me to the detention center, um, which is actually a military base outside of my city, in a sports club that was emptied and they stopped all the activities, and it became a military base. Um they detained me there for almost a month. Um, After they confirmed my identity, they did not release me, but they started questioning me about other wanted people, presuming that I may know some of them. And I was tortured without any reason. I was um, I was hit, screamed at, and detained without any reason, without a warrant. And after 1 month, when they didn't get anything from me, they just released me.
Uh, wow, that's heavy. So, so yeah, I mean, in Saudi Arabia, you're not only worried about being persecuted for being an atheist, you're also like it seems like you have a legitimate fear of being persecuted for being Shia, which is particularly frustrating because you're not even Muslim,
Yes.
but it doesn't matter
Yeah.
to them. Uh, yeah, like let's say if someone from the royal family or someone whose last name is Al Sheikh becomes an atheist, they're probably not
Hmm.
gonna kill them, but if somebody from Qatif becomes an atheist, they just want an excuse to kill those people, like from the
Whether
way
they are an
from the
atheist
place
or
I see it,
anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think yeah, that's something that does make your situation particularly difficult, and yeah, why it's so
Yeah.
important that you aren't sent to Saudi Arabia, because yeah, I mean it would be even worse than it would be for say like an average atheist, whatever that means, right?
Yeah. Like an atheist that came from a different background, I guess.
If you haven't watched the first part of this conversation, please do. In it, he talks about his journey leaving Islam and the circumstances in which he had to leave Saudi Arabia, as well as his emergency fundraiser, his last hope of legally remaining in Korea. Thanks for watching. You'll find a link to the fundraiser in the description if you would like to donate. Thank you so much for your support, and until next time, bye.